Good morning from the wilderness of down East Maine, where our dogs are barking ferociously because a tree that's threatening to disconnect me from the internet is going to be chopped down shortly. This is Andy Revkin, longtime Sustain What host, former .earth writer and writer for the New York Times, with Reverend Billy Talen, old friend from the sustainability journey, the Stop Shopping Choir leader. And I wanted to catch up with you because, well, for several reasons. I'll show you them in a minute. And our dogs are barking, so we'll just have to deal with that.
On both sides of the microphone.
Yeah. First of all, welcome. And anyone who has questions should pop them into the box, and also share this with others right now. We'll be live for a little while here. And, it's the day before Thanksgiving, the day before all the insanity, the consumptive advertising campaigns around making you buy stuff. So how are you doing?
Good on this Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Buy Nothing Day week.
Yeah, you've been a busy man these past years. You just got off of the Neil Young tour. For the second or third year, you've been an opening act there. How long has that been?
It's the third tour with the Love Earth tour that Neil Young and Daryl Hannah lead.
Just great.
Last year, his band was his old Crazy Horse band, and this year, kind of a reconfiguration of an old band, The Promise of the Real. 10 years ago, it was The Promise of the Real, and now a couple new juggled identities came in there, and now it's called the Chrome Hearts. Neil Young and the Chrome Hearts. That was this year's tour, and the picture here is the last year. That's the Crazy Horse tour.
Oh, well, let me just play this a little bit. This is from your Stop Shopping Choir YouTube. Hold on a second. Pretty great. That sounds like, was that about the situation in Georgia, trees and cops, or is it more of a general
song? The tree is the opposite of a cop. Got us in trouble in Atlanta. We had a bunch of policemen in the audience who started booing us, and then we also had Manuel Turan, Tortuguita's mother, the young man that was killed by the.
Oh wow! Yeah, sure.
She was there with us. So
wow.
And Savitri was shouting "Stop Cop City" in the microphone. So we had
wow, that must have been interesting.
We excited some of the local controversy.
Well,
the Weelaunee Forest has been hurt by the construction of this sort of police academy. They're going to make one out in Queens here. I understand there's dozens of them across the country now. It's a new generation of legitimacy for militarized police.
Well, and what does it feel like, having fought this fight for a long time, to have an entirely new police force being built with hundreds of billions tens of billions of dollars, this ICE, Homeland, Trump police force?
Well, the vantage point we have from the opposition to consumerism, it's such a wide embrace of the American culture. We call it the fundamentalist church of the USA, and we always see, Andy, consumerism in the large social changes.
Yeah.
It has to start with our acceptance of a product that is sold to us, and that is a product that's sold with fear. That's policing, increasing the policing. It's a product that's sold to us by all those police shows. It's the dominating TV item. And the guns, this is all sold to us and normalized. Even those of us who are against it start becoming resigned to it.
Yeah.
The way consumers become passive. So,
and even these media platforms we're on, we're right now you're on YouTube, and this is streaming to YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, etc. And those are all commodified and still designed to titillate, aggravate, engage, more than engage, to catch sort of the worst of us and take us down.
Yeah.
Scrolling is an invention. Taking us down. It's a design feature, it's taking us down to the lower parts of us instead of up to the higher parts of us. And that's, I think, part of the challenge right now, and why I'm happy you're out there doing what you do with your choir and your other work. This Friday, you are rejoining. Tell us about Buy Nothing Day. I think that's how I first got connected with you a long time ago when I was the New York Times. I wrote about Lassie. How do you pronounce his last name? Hassan. The Buy Nothing Adbusters folks.
Talen Lassen, yeah, from Adbusters, yeah.
And then I blogged about you. So this Friday is there is a new Buy Nothing Day, and you're involved in some way or other. There's an actual event in New York City.
After Jimitai Damour was trampled in at the Walmart in Queens in 2008.
Right.
We had a memorial. The year later, the choir went out to the Walmart kind of on the edge of the Queens on the way to the JFK airport, and had a memorial service and talked to the line of people that were there. And there were cops on horses that we walked into a militarized response by the Walmart company. And, there we were just getting off the subway, and there are all these cops on horses waiting for us, as if somehow we would be violent in remembering this man who was trampled by the ferocious invasion of the front door of that Walmart by people wanting that $99, flat screen TV.
Right.
He was trying to save and he succeeded in pulling a pregnant woman out of harm's way. She stumbled, and the wave of people came in, and Jimitai was a 6'6" gentle giant. He went in there to get this lady to safety. That was his job. He was in the employ of Walmart. And they caught him, and he was killed by the stampeding customers. Right. And that was 2008. And then our memorial was 2009. And after that, we just didn't. Well, first of all, Buy Nothing Black Friday changed. Right. After Jimitai's death, the doorbuster sale where Macy's would have thousands of people from around the world. It was one of those New York things, they would be out there at 5 or 6 a.m. whenever the doorbuster sale was scheduled to open the doors of the big gold plated doors on the Herald Square east side of Macy's, and we would have a great time just trying to. It was comic, trying to push back thousands of customers, and sometimes we got sucked into it, and we got pulled through the gold doors and would find ourselves like deposited in the aisle inside Macy's.
Yeah.
And it was all kind of fun and games at that point. I was detained a couple times, but when that essentially that same thing happened to Jim Attai and he was killed. So it just kind of didn't. And then the internet was coming. So the doorbuster became dated anyway, the opening, the sale at a given time and place. Time and place was erased, right? By what we're experiencing, you and me right now.
Yeah, really.
So now this year we're coming back again. And why? Because there are all these young people who are neo-Luddites, Andy. And they just had a big article in the Times. They're called the Lamp Club. And they are they're smashing iPhones and big rituals in public. And it just makes Savitri and me smile,
I hadn't caught up with this story yet. So Lamp Club and you are collaborating. Here they are.
Here they are. Yeah. Here they are. They're dressed up like elves.
Oh, that's so interesting. And now that leads me to the article that spurred me to reach out to you today by a journalist who you may know, Lloyd Alter. He's been on this sort of stop shopping beat essentially for a long time. He's focused on sustainable housing and the like. But he did a piece on his Substack this morning, buy a new phone and save the economy. And he was inspired to do this. He says, how about no? The world will survive if I don't have an M5. And look, here's the line at, the line at Apple. But what struck him was this. What struck him was this piece that CNBC had just a day or so ago.
Yes.
Americans are holding on to devices longer than ever, and it's costing the economy. Oh my God! There used to be this thing.
Jobs.
I have to get a new one of these because someone is telling me it's necessary, and it actually has this argument for this based on sort of macroeconomics. Americans are hanging on to their smartphones for much longer than they did a decade ago. But new releases like the iPhone 17 can entice consumers to upgrade. Businesses tend to hang on to their devices even longer, will be tied, than individual customers. While it may seem to be a smart money move, it can result in costly productivity and innovation lag. And it goes on to describe how, if you're not using the highest internet speed and your phone is not the super fastest, smartest thing in the world, and you're not on AI, you're slowing down growth. So I wanted to get your, this
incentivizing the inventors of the newest. Yep.
Yeah. So this, I hadn't, thanks to Lloyd, I saw this and I thought, oh man, I got to reach out to you. And I sent a note to Lloyd. I hope maybe he can pop on, but we had no time to firm it up. So what does that all make you think? What can we do about this? Or should anything be done? Or is it just the way the world is?
Well, believing it's the way of the world is what consumerism wants us to do.
Mm-hmm.
And when you've got just a couple blocks away from that Apple picture is the new JP Morgan Chase building at 270 Park Avenue. At the top is Jamie Dimon in his highest in Manhattan office. And they have been, Rainforest Action Network and Sierra Club do this annual review of the banking investments in fossil fuels. And year in and year out, Chase Bank is number one in the world. Last year, they put $53 billion into fossil fuel projects. And all the banks have followed Jamie's lead. They have ignored the Paris Climate Agreement, and they've invested since Paris Climate Agreement, I believe, is it $7 trillion in fossil fuel. So the nation state pledges at the Paris Climate Agreement in 2016, the nation state pledges became impossible to enforce because, Jamie Dimon invested $200 billion in the 24 months that followed the agreement in fossil fuel. And the other banks looked at him. The other banks were kind of hesitating because they didn't know what the nation state pledges meant for them. How would they slow down? And they were like ready to try to do it. But Jamie Dimon from the old Standard Oil Bank, Chase, comes down ancestrally from the original Rockefeller Bank, the big oil bank per se, right? And he just ran through the door right away. He ignored Paris completely and ran through the door, and became in doing that became the largest commercial bank in the United States, and they still are.
Yeah.
So our acceptance of this idea of the growth economy, our acceptance of all the science tells us that we're going into the sixth extinction here, and we're financing it ourselves. Well, damn. How can we be resigned to that? How can we accept it? It's the passivity of consumerism. It's shopping.
Right.
Jamie Dimon is a prince of the city. He advises presidents. He's,
Right.
when Zoran Mamdani won the mayoralty, all the legacy media outfits, the ABC and CNN, they were interested in bringing Jamie Dimon into the same room to talk with the new mayor. How this Muslim socialist who's 35 years old, let's have him talk to Jamie. So Jamie has risen to this position of being this. He's the only famous banker. He's videogenic. He kind of has that smile, and it's just, we're letting him do it. He really has no opposition at this point, but it's suicide.
So what does the Lamp Club tell you? Is there do you feel there is some prospect of the breaking this hold that is on the economy and how people think and behave? There's a fringe, here in Maine. In Maine, we have where I live now, the last 4 years, there's a wonderful share economy, care economy. People are dispersed and really need their neighbors a lot. And so we have, there's a trust economy. Everyone here, you can't go a mile here without seeing something for sale by the roadside where you just leave your cash, and take the thing you need,
so
whether it's firewood or there's just clams in a refrigerator so it's there's a lot of that here.
Fantastic.
I'm sure in other rural areas there are too.
Fantastic.
Cities are more challenging, but what's your you've been at this now for several decades, and what's your sense of the overall feel of the challenge?
Well, it really was a breakthrough to perform for something like 470,000 people, just put out there by Neil Young for a half hour. And Savitri and I and our singers and our musicians, we just had this sensation. We're talking to these people who are not necessarily environmentally inclined.
Right.
And we're talking to them directly. We start the show by saying, we're all carrying this thing, aren't we? We know something's terribly wrong. There's a crisis in the physical environment. And we know that we don't know what to say to our children about it. And we get people nodding their heads, these faces as far as the eye can see, all the way to the horizon, trying to get people to say yes and raise their hand. And then we start from there and try to create a scenario where we would have that personal sea change, Andy, where you go, oh, this is totally an emergency. I've got to do something right now. That kind of fight or flight response is what's been disabled by consumerism. So we try to talk to people about going to the earth for that change. Go to your favorite ecosystem, walk on that shore, that alpine meadow, that mangrove swamp, Prospect Park, find a way to be with nature and let nature come into you, because nature has something to say. Somehow the earth does communicate. And that's what all the earth culture people say. We just interviewed Leonard Peltier, and he said, oh, superstorms are communication from the earth. All the earth culture people say the earth is alive, the earth is intelligent, and it created people.
Right.
So we're rogue species. Let's go back and counter the earth. Oh, hear that?
Oh, that's so funny. We have our dogs have been barking as well. So now Lloyd has just joined us. Lloyd, I don't know if you've ever encountered Billy Talen and or vice versa.
I have. You'll have to excuse me. I have a barking dog in the background. My wife just came in.
All three of us do.
Yeah, we're all in the same boat there. We have some people doing some logging near our house. So Lloyd Alter, you've been at this a very long time as well. We all have silver hair. I do really, and beards and stuff. And what inspired me to reach out to Billy this morning was your post on Substack right here. Yet another plea by CNBC commentator to buy that we're hindering our productivity by not buying the next thing. So Lloyd, maybe you can weigh in a little bit on. There's our talk. Lloyd, you can weigh in a little bit on what spurred you.
Hang on for 1 second, okay? Kevin, is there anything you can do? Give me 2 minutes of quiet.
It's okay.
Okay.
We could just have the dogs take over the conversation.
You talking directly to your dogs, or is that to your
wife? Sorry
about
that.
That's okay. So you have a book on a low carb. Well, you've written many things on low carbon living, and it's not just about carbon. But so what got you in the mode to post what you posted today? We already talked about it a little bit.
I'm on radio, please.
It's okay. I can hear you okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But our dog is barking too.
Oh, okay. So, I hear a dog there too. Okay. Can you repeat the question? I'm all settled down now.
What spurred you to get at this issue yet again with this piece today?
Well, it was such a stupid article. First of all, when you even looked at the title of it on the CNN one,
Here it is. I'm showing it.
It starts with the story of this first poor 69-year-old woman in Tucson not changing her phone. And there's one paragraph of her saying she loves her 6-year-old Samsung. And then it immediately goes into this weird corporate stuff that, it's businesses that are the problem. It's businesses not changing the equipment fast enough. And this is holding back the economy. And, if you look at Walmart is still running their businesses on mainframes running COBOL because they find that the old technologies actually work better than going and replacing it with all the new cloud stuff and offshoring all their work to Amazon and that. And so American Express handles all our cards with COBOL on, 30-year-old mainframes. And so this whole thing that's saying, oh God, we're not going to be productive if we're not buying the absolute latest and not living in the biggest cloud and that is silly. And there was this economist, I didn't put her name, who had, not an economist, she was the dean of a business school somewhere in there, that basically, I'm trying to scroll on your screen and obviously I can't, but that I quoted her about this, her line in it, that, we are basically hindering our whole economy by not buying the latest thing. And then it goes back to poor Heather in Tucson, with not buying the latest phone. And of course, this is all incredibly silly, and I've been deluged with comments all day saying, I'm still using my 8-year-old this, I'm still using my 10-year-old this. There's one blog, one Substacker I follow, Kent in Superior, Michigan, who hacks out all of his posts every morning on old typewriters and then scans them and puts them up. And he says, I wrote this in a 100-year-old typewriter this morning, and I'm not turning it in. And, he's one of my favorite Substacks because of it. The biggest thing that got me in this article is, of course, I wrote along, one of my favorite books was Vance Packard's The Waste Makers, written in 1960, where he talked about in 1960 how all of our endless consumption and buying new things and replacing everything is what drives the economy. And he wrote that in 1960 when we actually made televisions, we made cars, all the cars, we made everything. And of course, we don't make anything anymore but houses and a portion of the cars because everything else is made in Asia now. So the question is, does this still matter? Do we still have to buy the new iPhone? And then in my last book, I started the book figuring out, well, what's actually in an iPhone? And it's 75 pounds of minerals dug up by children all over the world.
Oh my God.
And, you know, and Apple itself tells us that it's putting out 150 pounds of carbon dioxide, and 150 pounds of carbon dioxide is produced by, what do I say? How many gallons, how many liters? 30 liters of fossil fuels. All of this, everything that we do, everything that we buy, it's all just feeding the fossil fuel industry. And there's this great poster you just brought up that I always love from the Adbusters people, that they bring it out to every Black Friday, that this is what we do. We extract oil, we refine it, we turn it into plastic, we make it into a spoon, we truck it to a store, we use it once, and the story doesn't even stop there. Then we put it into piles and we have someone take it away, and we go through all the pretend recycling when we really know it's just going into a dump. And the whole process is completely insane. And all it does is mean that someone somewhere is pumping more oil. And that's what we have to break in this economy, that, it all goes back to the fossil fuels. And I said in it, that's why, of course, Trump does what he does to promote the fossil fuel industry. It's why COP just failed, because none of the fossil fuel producing countries want to do anything. It's
Right.
why the prime minister that I just voted for is in Canada is just working on the approval of a new pipeline to ship oil from Alberta to the Pacific Ocean. It's all crazy, because I don't know, Andy, you've been in this for so long. How do we break this cycle? I just don't know.
We have to invent a new kind of activism, and there's been a couple.
I was silenced there. Sorry, I just unmuted. I want to actually, your question, Lloyd, is such an important one, and we're all on a journey here. There is a long decarbonization trend behind everything, but it's so slow. It's always going to feel slow. Lloyd, what you were just writing and what you just said reminded me about the play Kyoto, which opened in London last year. And it's about the Kyoto Protocol negotiations. And its star, the central character, was Donald Perlman, the lawyer for Saudi Arabia, who was this American lobbyist and lawyer. And I got to play this for you. I know you haven't seen it yet. It's on YouTube.
No.
It's a clip from the London production. And just listen to what he says here. This is quote unquote the Don Perlman, the actor playing Don Perlman, speaking in this play. Oh, hold on.
No.
Unbelievable, huh? This is a play. It just had a limited run in New York City, Lincoln Center, and I love what I'm hearing. I don't know. It needs to be more than a play, though.
Right.
I just would love to get your reactions, maybe Lloyd and then Billy.
I didn't get any sound. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
you couldn't hear it, Billy?
No.
Could you hear it?
No.
Oh shoot! Well, that's not good. Oh my God! I thought it should work normally. Oh darn. Well, he basically, it's Donald Perlman.
Want to try it once more, or do you think that was just a dead loss?
Well, it should have worked. I'll set it up and see.
Now I've
Basically,
lost
it was
you.
Don Perlman, who is this lobbyist for the oil world, who I met at the climate talks many times, who was like an interface with journalists, among other things. He passed away of lung cancer because he was a chain smoker. And he's talking to the Climate Council, which was one of those lobbying groups that was set up to slow down the climate talks. And he's saying everything around them is oil. His glasses are oil. The stage
Andy, we can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me either. Oh, hold on.
Well, nice to meet you.
Hi, Lloyd. How are you? Our dogs have subsided. And
I can't hear you either, so
okay.
technical problems all
Can
around.
you hear me now? Can you hear
Yes.
me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you? Okay, sorry. I there was a technical glitch on StreamYard Universe. Okay, so with that in mind, if you can stay on a little longer, let's see if we can replay that whole thing.
Yeah.
It's worth, as I was saying, Lloyd, and I can edit this for the later version. Lloyd had just talked in his article and on the show about how the oil energy underpins everything, and so any consumptive discussion is really a discussion about energy.
Yes.
And there was this play that was it premiered at the Royal Shakespeare Stage in London a year ago, and it just had a run on at Lincoln Center. And the key character, the star, well, he's definitely an anti-hero, is Don Perlman, who was an American lobbyist at Patton Boggs, this big Washington, D.C. firm. And here in this scene, I have not been to the play. I've read the script. Next week, I'm going to have the two writers of the play on the show on Tuesday. He's kind of telling the Climate Council, which is this industry lobby group, about the issue they face and the solutions or the reality. So hold on, let's see if this works.
Only yesterday, we were all quite content sitting on democracy's porch.
Are you
Not
hearing
for me.
that?
No.
You're still not hearing it. Oh, that's
I
so
do.
weird.
I can.
Are you
you
hearing
can.
it?
I am hearing it. Yes.
Oh, interesting. Well, let me play it at least for Billy. And God, that's frustrating. Hold on.
With that gentle breeze blowing over us. Yeah, but that breeze has turned into a blizzard, folks, and the front step is hurting our ass. But every day now, scientists try to tell us how to
I've got
live our
subtitles at least.
lives. Every day, they try to tell us that the oil that powers our lives is a threat to life itself. Well, let me tell you an uncomfortable truth, people. This is oil. Yeah. This is oil. Yeah. This is oil. Yeah. This is oil. This is oil. This is oil. These chairs, oil. These lights. Oil. How'd you get here tonight? Oil. All of this. Oil. It is the water, the wine, the blood. It is the American sacrament. Yeah. Now, the Climate Council exists to do one thing: prevent targets and timetables for the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions.
So there you go.
That's exactly it.
Sorry.
It's exactly what Robert Ayers and Vaclav Smil and everyone and all the economists say, and they realize oil is money, oil is the economy, oil, energy is everything.
Yeah.
And my only hope has been, that, well, energy doesn't just come from oil. It got into the oil from the sun, and we can take it from the sun directly. And we seem to be making some progress there, but just not fast enough. So,
Yeah. And Billy, so on that play, maybe you can come on to that show next Tuesday to talk about creativity and the arts and the role of theater and the like, and potentially at least widening awareness.
I'd be glad to.
I'll let you know. I'm still setting it up, but it'll be Tuesday, December 2nd, I think.
Will that be an oil-free production?
by the
Andy?
way, it's such an honor to meet Billy. We in person years ago when Tree Hugger started, and I was working for Tree Hugger full time. You were a big part of Tree Hugger in like early years. You were on there regularly. I don't know if you remember or if
Yes, I do.
yeah,
Yes,
but
I do.
it was fun. So it's an honor to be here.
Yeah,
It's an
here we
honor to
are.
meet you, Lloyd.
So where do we go from here? Lloyd, how are you doing on Substack? I really love what you're doing because you ground a lot of your output around things people can do. And obviously this is a systemic problem. It's not just individual choices people make in how they build a house or even a company, how
Right.
they build. But how are things going with your communication efforts?
And well, Substack was just a total blessing. I was laid off from Tree Hugger, where they called me at 9 o'clock in the morning to say I have a 12:30 interview with HR, and at 12:45 my computer died, and I had to sit there and decide, okay, what do I do next? And the very next day I started saying, okay, I'm going to write here all the time. So it's been the outlet that's kind of kept me alive. And that, when you know what it's like when you're retired, you have to figure out what you're going to do.
Right.
And I've built a new audience, and I've written my book. And as you can see, just going through here, I talk about everything from toilets to kitchen tables to 432 Park Avenue to cigarette butts and America Recycles Day. It's just, I get to write about whatever I want. And I think that's great fun. I was late here, didn't see your note because I was at the gym. And so, I get to do these things that I never used to do without the pressure of where Tree Hugger I had to sort of crank out 2 stories a day,
Wow.
5 days a week.
That doesn't
So
sound sustainable.
I'm loving it.
And Billy, I never asked you about your business model. We were talking about the lamp club. What's possible, for communicators like you? And then when you think about the young people you're interfacing with more, how can we maximize the potential for this to get beyond some sort of bubble that we clearly inhabit a lot of our days?
Well, we have a couple of positives coming to us from the world that might re-enliven.
I'm not getting sound.
Oh, again. Are you hearing me, Lloyd?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
But you're not hearing Billy. God,
I'm hearing you both. I'm hearing you
Now I
both.
do.
Okay, good.
Okay. Well, the
Went away
activism. Are you with me?
I
Lloyd,
hear you.
can you hear me?
Oh, no.
Okay. The activists who inhabit public space usually, and sometimes we'll go into the lobby of a Chase Bank and sing there, but with the choir, but the activism on behalf of the earth, like all kinds of social change activism across our culture, we're on our heels right now. We're having trouble figuring out what to do. Now ICE is raising the violence level of policing all across the different kinds of police. So, but a couple remarkable things have happened. And I'm in my sermons right now, I'm talking about that. One thing that has happened is the earth culture people from Amazonia invaded COP 30. They followed their big river all the way from Peru and Ecuador, and they crossed the security lines and almost got to that super secret poker game between the nation states and the corporations and the big oil there at the secret meeting that goes on that you only hear about in the wind. I would say that was a big move, the rise of indigeneity as an activist force. I would say that the No King's Day was a big deal, dressing up like frogs and unicorns and giraffes and donkeys and horses and coyotes. And it was a little bit, you couldn't tell if there was a return to identifying with those animals or not. It really didn't. That would be wishful thinking on the part of a romantic environmentalist to think that there was an actual. It was coming from that one guy in that one frog outfit and that one ice guy who didn't know what to do with him. And the ice guy turned left, and then it became this 7 million person celebration. Everybody with their homemade signs and lots and lots of people dressed up like various kinds of animals. That was encouraging. And
that really is. Sorry.
The third thing that also has that directness, a bold directness that we've lacked lately, and that is the election of Zoran Mamdani. That 2 million conversations at the doorway, one stranger meeting another stranger, knocking on the door. Can we talk about sheltering? Can we talk about food? How are you doing it in this economy? Do you think you can stay in your own neighborhood? Do you think your children can stay in the neighborhood that they grew up in? Just those 2 million conversations, encouraged by 100,000 volunteers going door to door, that withstood millions of dollars coming in from billionaires that were fueling the attack ads of Andrew Cuomo. I mean, New York was wallpapered with attack ads against this Muslim socialist 34-year-old guy. And those conversations stood their ground. People remembered the direct eye contact. They remembered the laughter together, the sighing together, the sharing of information together, the storytelling. That felt great. And that comes into our activism. It comes into our ability to go into public space around JP Morgan Chase's new skyscraper and shout and sing about what that company actually finances around the world. So there is a wave of encouragement right now. I'm not sure it's shared by a lot of us are just beaten up and passive, but I predict I'm an optimist about it. Those 3 events are flagship, activist bravery, and it's all about the body. It's all about direct contact, having the ability to break through the veiled electronic veils and plastic veils and deal directly with your fellow humankind.
Yeah, I think you're onto something there, and I think what you said about Mamdani's success is really part of it, and also the virality of the passive, peaceful, even humorous protests facing the horrific assaults from ICE. I think that does show the power of people can really still matter. I'm showing one of your Chase events, which again combine humor and serious issues. Howling.
Oh, this was howling, Andy. We were howling.
I remember. certainly were.
We're howling like wolves.
Our dogs are
British
barking at the howling.
Is my
JP Morgan Chase has given $5.5 billion to the Trans-Canada Pipeline. Maybe that's obscure to you. Maybe I should just say, your bank financed Hurricane Ian. Your bank financed the Pakistani drownings of 1,500 people. Chase Bank financed the Himalayan mountains melting.
So here's to you and your crew for a creative approach to getting your message out. And again, I'm kind of encouraged to hear about the Lamp Club crew doing similar work, because we do need that generational continuity. So this is a good start. Let's just get back to before we close out to the Thanksgiving and the shopping mania that will be in front of everyone the next few days. You're having an event in New York City. There's also sort of a hashtag for Buy Nothing Day. How can people, what can people think and do? I used to, I did a piece a long time ago on my .earth blog about what I called Make Something Day, as an alternative, which is clearly, again, in Maine here, there's a lot of that, but there was even in the Hudson Valley where I lived back in the day. And so what can people do, to facilitate?
Well, the Church of Stop Shopping and the Lamp Club are, we're going to have an event at Tompkins Square at 2 p.m. And being on your show, Andy, it makes me want to live stream it.
Yeah.
But we will have the free store. We'll have, we'll bring food to each other, and then we'll parade around the East Village. But in the East Village, a lot of the struggle for real exchange has to do with the real estate. And this brings us back to the mayor,
right?
The new mayor. We have waves of Google bros coming in and paying $6,000 for a studio apartment.
Right.
And Zoran says he's going to freeze the people that have some kind of stabilized rent to defend them, to defend us. But the East Village, you think of Allen Ginsberg, you think of Charlie Parker, the Helen Levitt, the photographer, you just go on and on and on. The artists and powerful political people that come from that font of, that neighborhood. That's going to die if we got a bunch of people working for Google working there, and are we on YouTube now?
We are.
That's a Google subsidiary.
Bingo.
So we're talking about finding a way to defend the identity of the East Village. That's a big subject of our gathering on Friday.
Well, everyone can go to revbilly.com and on Substack, go to lloydalter.substack.com, LLOYD alter.
Right.
And you're both doing really important work. I'm happy to help facilitate broadening the conversations. And this is, a journey. And what I do on Sustain What on these webcasts is definitely, it's about broadening conversations. So seeing who else we can bring into the fold. And I just appreciate you're both taking a little time on these crazy days at the end of this crazy year, in the middle of a crazy decade, and at the early stages of a century that could bring great wonders or pretty calamitous outcomes, still, depending on choices people make at different levels. So, Lloyd, I know you had some technical issues. Any last thoughts about what people can do and think? And share?
No, the funny thing is that Buy Nothing Day was invented by people in Vancouver. It's actually a Canadian invention, which we've exported south. And because it's not even our Thanksgiving and our Black Friday here, we had our Thanksgiving a month and a half ago. So to everyone south of the border, I wish you all a happy Thanksgiving and a successful Buy Nothing Day. And I'd also like to remind people of Shopping Saturday locally. This was an initiative started by, of all people, American Express and the National Trust for Historic Preservation back then, to shop local, support your main street, support your local community. If you do your shopping, that's when and where you should do it.
Absolutely. And,
Earthaluia.
there's a good, yeah. Reverend, do you have a going away mini sermon, a little mini call to action?
Oh, I just want to ask the earth to come on in and just come into all of us. May we have a dynamic consciousness shift away from products and back towards real life. We don't need AI.
Right.
We just need each other. We need to love and imagine and work, make community. Earthaluia.
Hallelujah, indeed. Well, thanks to both of you again. And sorry, this was such a pop-up, Lloyd, but we can do something more organized sometimes.
Okay.
It's a good
care,
way to
everyone.
start the day. Thank you.
This is Andy
Thank you.
Reskin in Down East Maine, talking with Lloyd Alter in Canada, a great writer on Substack, and Billy Talen, who on Friday will be pursuing the Buy Nothing alternative to Buy Everything mania. Take care, everybody who's watching, and share this as soon as we're done with the rest of the world. Take care. Hold on one second.